What's going on, everyone? This is my 2020 Lexus GX460. I'm in the middle of installing a mesh so rodents can't get into my HVAC box and chew up my cabin air filter. I'll see if I can include a photo on what I ended up finding. I noticed a weird funk coming out of my vents when I would turn on the heater and air conditioning, and I went to replace the cabin air filter and found out that I had a new inhabitant. So this is kind of just like a step-by-step video on how I ended up getting everything in. Everything's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is remove the cowling, take a couple clips out, 14 millimeter on a stubby there to take off the windshield wiper arms, and then whatever tools you feel fit to end up cutting some mesh. But I'll include some clips here just to hopefully get you guys on the right track here. So this is my 2020 Lexus GX. I'm sure this would work on the GX 470s, also 4Runners. All right, here we go. All right, so everything on here should be pretty straightforward. You're just gonna remove the trim pieces on either side of the motor bay or the engine bay. Boom, boom. You'll have this plastic cover here. And then as far as the windshield wipers go, there's just some plastic caps that are on top of this 14 millimeter nut. Just if you have any like trim removal tools, that'll do. I just have a bunch here, and this is what I ended up using, something like that. The clips that hold everything down, you just push it in and they pop right out. And then before going and removing your windshield wipers, I like just to throw a little bit of tape here just so I know where they came off. I've never taken off the windshield wiper arms on my GX here. I did it on a previous vehicle I had at a Ram 2500, and they didn't have the splines that lined up in just certain locations. So however you put them on, that's just how they lined up. And it took me forever to get it back to how it was supposed to be. So just throwing the tape on there, just a quick tip, it should help. Once you're ready to remove your windshield wiper arms, I found it's easier if you just close the hood as much as you can. And just fold these up like you're changing the windshield wiper blade. Boom, like that. And they just pull right off. This is a California vehicle, so there's no rust and no corrosion on the windshield wiper arms. On either side of the cowling, you're gonna have these little clips. These little guys, just you push them in just like earlier. And then you're gonna have the corner trim pieces here. So I have the KC, the wire hider here. So I have lights up on my roof rack. And these just pop out and you just pull them down. There you go. Now for the cowling, once everything is all undone, you just give it a swift pull and the tab should pop out. And now you have access to the area that we're gonna be patching up. All right, so now that the cowl's out of the way, you can take a look down in here. So here is the top of your cabin air filter. So I just replaced that one, that's a clean one. But it just puts things into perspective on how easy it is for rodents to crawl down in there. And then if you take a closer look, that white piece that you see coming up and over there, that is, I don't know the technical term for it, but it's that piece of plastic that will deflect the air. So when you hit the recirculate, it ends up closing that. So it closes off access to outside, and then it just recirculates air inside your cabin. So what we're gonna do is remove these plastic clips from here, and then we're gonna start finding a way to throw our mesh on there. All right, so this is the mesh I plan on using. I got it on Amazon, and it's, I forgot what the specs were on it. I ordered it probably like a month or two ago, and it's just been sitting in the backseat of the car for a while. So I was trying to figure out a way I could get it to sit flush up against the back side of the firewall here. And I didn't want to leave a gap in the back or have a spot where it could rub up against and make weird noises as the body flexes or whatever else. So I went ahead and grabbed some, not angle iron, but angled aluminum here. I just had laying around. I bent it up and then I scuffed it up with some, I think it's 200 grit, just so I can glue it on there. So bent down the sides. So everything should fit in there pretty clean. I made it so it pretty much just snaps down into place. And once everything's glued in, it won't allow any rats or mice to slide behind that, and then it'll give us a good surface so we can adhere our mesh to it. Fast forward about an hour or so, I ended up getting the mesh in. Everything's all buttoned up. Ended up just zip tying where these old pieces went, just so it wouldn't rattle around, just because I didn't want to cut a hole in the mesh. The mesh that I ended up getting, it's not welded, it's all just woven, so it kind of just pops out of place kind of easy, so that was fun. So if I were to do this again, I wouldn't get this type of mesh. It's all glued up on the top. I don't think any mice are gonna get around that. To get that shape, I ended up just cutting out a piece of cardboard that I had laying around, and then I just went back and forth, transferred it over the mesh, and then I just cut it out with some tin snips there. That ended up working. Only cut my hand once.